everyone, and welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass. And you should be forewarned that for this episode, there may be calculators or abacuses needed. Abacuses? Abaci? A herd of abacuses? I'm not quite sure how we pluralize this, but if someone knows, please let us know. Because we are talking today about movies with a number in the title. And here to join me is my number one of all time, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm great. I'm feeling 110%.
Okay, 110%. Okay, you've gone over, but I still love you 3,000. So let me lay down some ground rules here for what we're about to do. We are going to pick three movies, a keep, a watch, and a pass. So that's three movies each. And the movies have to have a number in the title. But we put some ground rules here. And rule number one is that a sequel cannot qualify. So Superman 2, no, can't do that.
Also, to make it even more challenging, it has to be an actual number in the title and not spelled out.
Which I'm going to tell you right now, you.
Believe me, I am saying the same thing
because
to myself because all of the movies that I had absolutely intended on putting on this list, Three Amigos, like Three Kings, Four Rooms, I couldn't.
Yeah.
I could not pick any of the above.
That eliminated my Star Wars Rogue One, so thank you.
Yep.
Not.
Yep.
Yeah.
There were many that I was hopeful had a number in the title, like Ocean's 11, spelled out.
Yeah. No. You're the one who came up with that rule, so you're the one who has to suffer.
I know.
Right.
And suffer I did.
But we still have our three movies picked each. A keep, a watch, and a pass. The keep movie, of course, is one we hold in absolute highest regard. You know, like number one, right? Our watch is anywhere between numbers 2 and 10. You know, it's like, it's good. It's in there. It's in the mix. Our number 1 million is our pass. One that we wouldn't even put in the running, and we probably wouldn't even give it a participant ribbon. But since you're the one who put the hard rule down, you're going to have to start. So, Carrie, what is your keep movie with a number in the title?
Without a doubt, my number one of my all-time favorite movies is Formula 51.
Okay.
So,
also known as the 51st State, but the number is actually a number. So you win either way.
Right. And what's funny is I actually forgot to write it down. So I am now in the process of elimination and trying to knock off one of my numbered movies.
And the thing is, we've actually covered that movie on It's Not That Bad because it is way too much fun.
It is so
really
good.
is. And yes, this is one of those films that we have. I can't remember if we have it on VHS or DVD, but
both.
Probably more than likely, yes. But yay, physical media. And it is. It's a ton of fun. Like it came out in that time when movies were very high octane in their editing and their camera work. And you think about movies like Crank is the first one that comes to mind, or anything that was directed by Tony Scott. Like, so many, or Domino was another good one too, right, where you had these high octane visuals with some crazy antics and Rhys Ifans in that film. I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's good, but Rhys Ifans is so crazy fun. And then you watch him in House of the Dragon and go, ooh, that took a turn.
Not only like Mr. Lovegood from Harry Potter. He was Luna's father.
He was, yes.
Very different role.
Very different role.
Although he was quite out there, so,
So maybe the drugs did have the effect.
I think they did. Yes. I blame the Nargles.
Don't let the Nargles get you down. My keep, because it can't be Rogue One, is Blade Runner 2049. I was nervous when they announced that the sequel was coming out because Blade Runner is one of those films that is how do you replicate that? And yes, I get the pun there with the replicants. How do you replicate that? And I get that it didn't get the critical reception that the original did, but I think it's a phenomenal film. I think it is completely worthy of the Blade Runner name. I think it carries on the legacy, and we get grumpy Harrison Ford, so you can't go wrong with that. But I really, really liked Blade Runner 2049. There was a lot to it that was fascinating, as well as the animated series that led up to it, including the short Blade Runner 2032. And if you had a chance to watch those, it did give a bit of a background into where the world of Blade Runner runs up to. But there are so many films that borrowed from the Blade Runner series. I mean, you watch the depiction of Coruscant in Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, and it feels like the world of Blade Runner. It was so visionary, and Ridley Scott did such a great job of that film. And still today, both films, Denis Villeneuve did a phenomenal job on the sequel, still infinitely watchable, at least from my point of view. I know you're not the biggest sci-fi geek, and Blade Runner, you have to kind of go in not tired, because I've met you. You happen to fall asleep during movies.
It's not fair to say I'm not a sci-fi geek, because believe me when I say I was also really upset that I couldn't pick Fifth Element.
Yeah, no, Luc Besson, I mean, Valerian, and was it the Planet of 1,000 Planets or something like that, or Planet of 1,000 Worlds? That wouldn't have qualified either, because they wrote out 1,000. So, but yeah, no, both those movies were so much fun. And because they don't qualify, I can't have them as my watch film. So I am very fortunate that there was a time in movies where you'd have the word and then they'd sneak in a number in there, which is why I can have 7 as my watch film, because there's a 7 in the actual word.
See, I wondered about that.
Mm-hmm.
I did.
Well, you said it has to have a number in the title, and it actually has the number officially in the title. It wasn't just like some weird glitchy kind of thing. It actually had the number in the title. So I get away with that one. But 7 is also really, really cool. I mean, it's dark and it's brutal and blunt and very much like the original Blade Runner. And even the second one too, to a point. It feels like a noir film, right? It has that noir tonality to it. So maybe there's something wrong with me that so far my keep and my watch are both in the new noir genre, if you will. But I mean, your thoughts on 7?
You know what? I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a great movie, and yeah, I would definitely watch it again and again.
Again and again. What's in the box? I'm still, I don't know whether that scene qualifies as camp or whether it qualifies as just manic. And I'm sure there are 2 schools of thought on it. Love to know what you guys thought of it. Okay, Carrie, your watch movie. What have you got?
Well, as much as I want to pick 12 Monkeys just to say, hey, I do like sci-fi too, I'm not going to, because I'm going to go with something that's a little bit more up the very Carrie movie alley.
Oh, here we go.
And that would be the alley in which leads to 21 Jump Street. Oh. Yeah. That was a really nice segue though, wasn't it?
Oh.
It was, yeah, because you know what? That is my stupefun kind of movie that I just, you know what? If it's on, I'm watching it.
There's something not right
and
with you, girl.
it's not just for Channing Tatum.
Something not right with you, girl.
Well, you know.
I mean, it's funny for what it is. And I'm not going to lie. this is one of the situations where I'm surprised that neither this nor the sequel 22 Jump Street actually qualifies for It's Not That Bad. I am shocked.
Well, exactly. I mean, you know what? It was a hoot. And I think the fact that it was so different tonality-wise from the series, I mean, it really was. It was like more of a farce type as opposed to...
Yeah, but even those, right? Like taking older television properties and turning them on their heads and having a good laugh at them.
Well, Dukes of Hazzard.
Well, I was about to say, but normally those properties get lambasted by the critics. Dukes of Hazzard, Starsky and Hutch, Chips.
It was a great movie.
Right?
Yeah, Chips.
Baywatch, right? Like they don't normally get critic adulation, but yet 21 Jump Street and 22 Jump Street don't qualify for It's Not That Bad. And it's kind of breaking my brain a little as to how that is actually out there. Now, interestingly enough, there was a story that came out where some critics are being, or some movies are being, or studios are being accused of paying critics for positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. So I almost have to question our entire podcast at this point. Right?
That's literally like, I don't know, telling me that there's no
Santa Claus?
Easter Bunny.
No, the Easter Bunny got torn apart by a bunch of dogs.
Oh, up next.
yeah, go back and watch that or listen to that episode over on the podcast here. But yeah, no, it's interesting and it baffles me. And sometimes, and it can go the other way too. Like I don't know how some movies are rated so low. I also don't know how some movies are rated so high. And
well, I mean, you're absolutely right when you brought up Starsky and Hutch, because it really was the same kind of cop,
right up the same alley,
buddy cop genre, but it just, maybe it was the actors in it.
It's
maybe,
but Starsky and Hutch had Snoop Dogg.
I know.
As Huggy Bear.
I know.
That alone is worth at least 40-50%. I'll never understand critics. But anyways, so now we get to our pass film. So Carrie, what are you passing on?
I am passing on 13 going on 30.
Really?
I am going to give it a pass. I'm going to give it a pass. And I think that's mainly because I had it originally as my watch, but then I had to make room for the 51st, Formula 51, 51st state, however you want to call it. But, the more that I think about, I think I hold true to this, right? To force age any young teenage girl is really fundamentally wrong. So, when you actually look at, okay, yeah, it's a funny movie, but then you look at no, you stole her childhood. I don't know. I have a problem with it.
But yet you like Big.
I loved Big.
Right?
I know.
So this one, I mean, I could have seen, you maybe picking a movie like 27 Dresses.
But wait a minute. I liked Big, yes, but it came full circle and he was able to go back to his childlike self. In 13 going on 30, she stayed that way, didn't she? She got married.
You're asking me about a rom-com?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. As we've proven on a previous episode, I didn't even watch Mrs. Doubtfire. So
true. Fair enough.
So bear with me on this one here.
I'll have to give it a rewatch, but from the still shots, there was a picture of her at a wedding, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's taking it a bit far. Rom-coms are not exactly my strong suit. I mean, there are some that I like. A movie like When Harry Met Sally is right up there. I love America's Sweethearts. I think that's a ton of fun. So I can't really speak to 13 going on 30. Although that being said, Jennifer Garner, is enjoyable as an actress. I do like her and things that she's done. Even Elektra. I didn't mind her in Elektra. Well, it also had a very young Bruce Banner.
Right?
Mark Ruffalo.
Hulk smashed that.
Very young. I actually couldn't believe it. When I look back, I'm like, whoa, he was in that, right?
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to shock you with my pass.
Ooh, bring it on.
I think I'm going to shock the world
Wow.
with my pass. Because looking at my movies, we have sci-fi, and we have darker tonality, and you know how much of a sci-fi geek I am. So when I say that my pass is 2001, A Space Odyssey, like
I can see it.
peak Stanley Kubrick, but it's boring as like, I'm sorry. I get that people hold this film up as like literally someone can hold up the DVD copy and you can hear the Also Sprach Zarathustra da 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 da. But
So you're trying to break the internet right now.
not as much as you did on our Masters of the Universe episode. By the way, go back and watch or listen to our Masters of the Universe episode. But yeah, no, the thing with 2001 I find is just, I don't even know, pretentious. It is. I find it pretentious. It lives in symbology at the beginning of the film, and it takes you a while to get to where you need to go. And by the time you get there, and it's the same reason why if we ever did a Star Trek movies one, my hard pass would be the very first Star Trek the Motion Picture. It's about half an hour. It's like an episode worth surrounded by about like 2 hours of space porn, like spaceship porn. Like it's meh. It's boring. And 2001, I would rather watch 2010, the year we made contact. And maybe it's because when that film came out and it was on the first choice super channel, pay-per-view channels that we had access to when I was growing up. And it was also very Cold War influenced. And that was, around that time you had you were right in the middle of it. It felt more timely. It felt more like a proper story. 2001 just didn't connect with me. And I don't know, does that make me a bad sci-fi fan?
You're just being honest.
I mean, it's not like I sat there and said Star Wars has to go. No.
I can't speak to this because I do recall it being on, and I do recall a lovely 2-hour plus nap.
Right?
I remember trying to watch it, and I closed my eyes and that was it.
But I mean, even Avatar, I have yet to be able to watch the whole thing all the way through because it's like a freaking lullaby, and I will go night-night whenever that movie is on because I find it boring. And I get
you're pissing everybody off now. You're gonna get attacked.
The thing is, despite how visually stunning Avatar is, and I do give Kubrick, a world of credit for the visuals that he was able to create at that time for 2001. But if the story isn't there and if the plot isn't moving, then I'm going to have a nap. Old man sitting in the chair, head back, still holding my cup of tea in my hand, not moving because I fell asleep holding it and hoping that I don't spill it on my lap. And if I do spill it on my lap, hopefully it's cooled down by that point. I'm going to have an old man chair nap if that movie is on. So maybe put it on so I can have my old man chair nap.
Note to self, get a chair with cup holders.
Yes. That needs to happen. We now need to be sponsored by whoever makes those couches that look like movie theater seats.
And not a massage chair, because you don't want the contents of the cup to be shaken out of the...
Well, that's
a good idea.
That's
but
great if it's a disaster film.
Until you put a beer in it.
What are we watching? Earthquake. Great. Put the massager on. Oh, man. We want to know what movies with numbers, actual numbers, not just spelled out, because Carrie hates us all. Actual numbers. What would be your keep, your watch, or your pass? hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, be sure to check out our other shows. It's Not That Bad, and There Can Only Be One. And you can check out the Coming Soon page and find out what movies we are preparing to do episodes on for It's Not That Bad. Until next time, she's Carrie. I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep, Watch, Pass. Take care.
Hey folks, Stefan Shirazi and Renee Richardson here from the Metallica Report.
And we are proud members of the Pantheon podcast family, where the best of music and podcasts unite.
We've got something pretty cool for you. We're giving away an exclusive Metallica merch package worth over $250.
That's a whole lot of Scary Guys, Skulls, M72, and other sought-after Metallica swag. And we've made it easy for you to win. Follow and share the Metallica Report, and you're in the game. Go to pantheonpodcast.com/Metallica, enter your email, and hit that button to be entered to win.
And just like that, you're eligible for our monthly exclusive Metallica merch package.
And guess what, rockers? You can enter every month, so just do it. And while we love our global brothers and sisters, the lawyers won't let us ship outside the U.S.